Okay, so you're wondering how to choose a theoretical framework for your dissertation. Well, it can be a bit complicated and it can take some time to find that theoretical framework, and sometimes we don't necessarily need to include theoretical framework in our literature review either. If your supervisor says that he wants you to define your theoretical framework, you should, first tip, familiarize yourself with key debates within your topic and who are the key researchers and key theorists within your topic. Then that could help you find a theoretical perspective. That could help you find a theoretical perspective that will enable you to frame your analysis. The other aspect of this is sometimes the theoretical framework is similar to your sort of analytical approach. Yeah? For instance, if you're doing a discourse analysis, you might want to do sort of some engage in some discussions of a discourse analytical theorist such as Foucault, and you want to explain and review what he argued. And then you want to probably discuss what these theoretical perspectives assume. The key word here is assume. What do they assume about the world? You need to have a sort of an inkling of, do they think that the world is constructed through, or sort of that we see the world through, or understand and perceive the world through language, for instance? Or is the world out there and we can find a factual sort of nature of the world? Is that what the theoretical perspective is assuming? So you go back to these kind of key questions in social science. For instance, if it's a sort of Marxist theoretical perspective, well, your research question should probably have something to do with analyzing some forms of inequalities or exploitation. A feminist theoretical perspective would be looking at some form of inequality between genders, etc. And there could be many forms of that, many different sort of, you can have a liberal, a Marxist, feminist perspective, etc. So it's important to uncover and discuss the assumptions of your theoretical perspective. And also, tip 3, therefore, it's also important to recognize and discuss the criticisms of this perspective. Discussing these criticisms means that you should also consider how your chosen theoretical framework counters these criticisms. My top tip 4 is to link your theoretical framework to your research question. As always, the research question is the sort of something that sort of keeps the dissertation together. So your theoretical framework equally needs to be relevant in relation to your research question. It needs to enable you to answer the research question. Which brings me to top tip 5, is that you need to think about choosing a theoretical framework that you can actually use in your analysis. Many students sort of present their theoretical framework and leave it in the literature review, and we never see it again. That is a weakness. We need to see that you have use for your theoretical framework in your analysis. That's why it's called a theoretical framework. It frames the analysis. So make sure you think about that when you choose your theoretical framework for your dissertation. So if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment sections down below, and we will answer them as soon as we can. And if you'd like to explore tutoring with someone like me, I'm a social science tutor. I tutor subjects like sociology, human geography, education, etc. Please contact the profs. The information is under here. And as always, best of luck with your studies.